Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021 and extended again by Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, this meeting will be conducted via remote means. Members of the public who wish to access the meeting may do so in the following manner by emailing Steve McCarthy at mccarthys@amherstma.gov. That's mccarthys@amherstma.gov. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event we are unable to do so for reasons of economic hardship and despite best efforts, we will post on the Amherst website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. With that done, we'll call the meeting to order at 5:04 p.m. and take a roll call of attendance. Dylan.
Here.
Gaston.
Here.
Doug.
Here.
Ellie.
Here.
And I'm here, so we're all here. Good to see everybody. Okay, public comment. We're now open for public comment, and this is comment which is unrelated to anything on the agenda, discussion topics, etc. If you have any sort of general public comment, please hit the raise hand button at the bottom of your screen and raise your hand so that you can speak. Anybody? Nope. Okay. On to licenses, part 3. A, new liquor license applications. The first one is Spearpoint Enterprises LLC, doing business as Gabe's Underground, 37 to 41 Boltwood Walk, an all alcohol on premises license. And someone's here for that, Steve?
Yes, we have two. They should be coming in as panelists right now.
Okay, so Reese and Andrea. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, welcome.
I'm Hunter. This is Gabe Kraus.
Hello.
Hi, Gabe. Hi. And hi. So welcome to the Board of License Commissioners. Would you like to introduce your business a little bit? Thank you for your application.
Yes, so I'm Gabe Kraus, and Reese Deshay, she's my manager out there in Amherst. She's going to be taking care of things out there. So we had her kind of sit in on this and see the proceedings. So we're looking to open a nightclub slash I guess kind of restaurant slash bar type location on Boltwood Walk. So just to base our main kind of crowd is going to be the college students and the locals that come in. So that's where it's kind of what we're aiming for. So.
And I believe we heard at another meeting that you do have an establishment already in another town.
Yes, we do. It's Gabe's 252 in Westfield, Mass.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's the same kind of concept. We locals and college students are our main niche for us. So.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Does anyone have questions or comments for Gabe?
Quick question.
Yes.
This one's going to be a nightclub. I haven't had a chance to look. Is it going to be? Is your business in Westfield? Is that also a nightclub, or is that just like a bar restaurant?
It's like a bar restaurant. Yeah.
Kind of nightclubish, but it's a
combination.
combination.
It's a large bar with it has a large dance floor and it has pool table areas. And we're working on building a new kitchen there because we had one for a while, but the after the COVID regulations were over, we couldn't use that as a kitchen anymore. So we're trying to build something a little bit more permanent. So
got it.
Great. So Gaston.
Thank you. Can you tell us your plan for nights that you want to be open and kind of roughly how you envision a week of your business?
So we're aiming towards probably opening, the hours that we provided. I think it was 2 p.m. to 1 a.m. We're really trying to gear towards involving everybody. But we understand that it's a big college town. It's a lot of college students, in the area. That's kind of like our specialty is kind of reaching the college students. And but I wanted to create a space because the location in Amherst now used to be like 3 to 4 different businesses. And my vision was to really, create something that would keep people there, instead of just a dance floor and, having drinks. They have an area to play pool, maybe play some arcade games, get some food. It's, watch sports. I want to, there's separate rooms, but I wanted to incorporate it all into one entity. So it's, kind of appeals to the local crowd that sticks around, or the college kids that are, a little bit more, I guess they're a little more into sports or, just hanging out instead of,
Yeah.
going dancing and stuff. So that was kind of my goal.
Excellent.
But then
Great.
I've got another question whenever
Yes.
you want to call on me.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Dylan.
Sure. And then, so the pool tables now, is this like I'm not going to put any sort of like condition, obviously mandating that you have to have them, but as you're kind of going into this, is like pool tables that you're really wanting to do, or just kind of trying different things out? I ask because ever since the High Horse closed during the pandemic, Amherst has been lacking a pool hall downtown. Are you thinking that's going to be a serious focus, a small focus, or just something you're kind of trying out?
Yeah.
No, it's a very serious focus because we have pool tables in Westfield and the college kids love it. They're used all the time.
Yeah, it's going to be, and I wanted to, like, along with the pool tables, that space that we have where we removed some walls. I believe it's in a lot of the, kind of updated paperwork that we sent over. That whole purpose was to open it up, give more room to maybe put some arcade games in as well. I understand Quarters in Hadley does something similar, but I wanted to be geared towards more having pool tables, maybe a couple games, but like definitely at least 2 to 3 pool tables.
Wonderful.
Great, Hallie.
Question. I mean, you're used to college students being in Westfield. Do you have a scanning software that you use? I know
Oh, yeah.
several of our locations.
Yeah, so it's the scanner is it's able to get all 50 states. You do have to keep updating the software, and you have to export a lot of those scans. Like, say if it gives you the power to SOS someone if they've if they were causing a problem, if there's a fight. I don't have any tolerance. If you get into a fight and you caused it, you're banned. And drugs, you're banned and you're trespassed. So now the police know. If we do have fights, we contact the police as soon as we have an issue in Westfield. So I was gonna kind of bring those, bring that kind of mentality to Amherst to really combat the the bad apples out there. And I want to have safety is the biggest thing. We want to have a fun, safe atmosphere for all the customers to enjoy, and not have to be worried about anyone that's sketchy people or someone giving somebody else a hard time. We really try to nip a lot of that stuff in the butt. And I have very, very low patience for people that want to cause a problem. And so
Right. Yes, Gaston.
So quick question. I'm just curious. I saw you have ping pong in Westfield. I was wondering, any chance you're going to have room? You think you'll have room for ping pong?
So what we do, we have, I was thinking about that. If we can bring in Westfield, we have to call it water pong.
Oh,
Because the implementation of it saying, like, calling it beer pong.
yep.
That liquor commission, has said it's, it kind of brings on the light of it being a heavy drinking game.
Sure.
We don't want to we don't want to press that. Oh, you have to get drunk in this game. Like,
I hear you.
what I mean? So that we'll definitely have a few some pong tables that, we'll
Okay.
bring some cups, fill them with
Okay.
water. That's
Okay.
normally what we do. And the kids
Okay.
love it. So.
Yeah. I guess related and to that, and maybe also a question for Reese. I'm just wondering what practices or insights have you developed about identifying when it's time to cut someone off?
Yeah, so I can give you kind of the rundown as far as our protocol that we follow at the bar. So we are TIP certified in order to be able to establish based on body language, speech, etc., to determine whether or not somebody is at their limit. We also have a system as far as tabs are concerned, our POS systems. We can see all of the sales, and especially if they open a tab, we can see everything that has been put on their tab. That is something that we also take into account. So we have a full system of if we trust each other. If one person decides that somebody has reached their limit, we are all in agreement. We also work with the security team. Once that has happened, once they are cut off, they are asked to leave the bar. We do not allow them to stay, just so that there is no mistake in them going to another server, getting another drink, or having somebody purchase one for them. So we are very strict in a sense of the order in which we go about that and make sure that they are taken care of accordingly.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Any other questions? Oh, we do have, you are aware, we have in our regulations sort of like a little snack law where if alcohol is being served, some kind of food has to be available for the patrons. So I don't know if you're planning on keeping your kitchen open or having some snacks around.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a full-size kitchen.
Okay.
Right now, to start out, our menu is going to be very simple, basic things like hamburgers,
Mhm.
probably long dogs, a lot of appetizers, like fried, wings and things like that.
Mhm. Okay, great. Wonderful. Any other questions?
Yeah, could you please just clarify, did you say 2 p.m. to 1 a.m. every day or just certain days?
So right now we have it 2 p.m. to 1 a.m. every day. We'll see how those nights go, and if we have nights that are more successful than others. If it's if we run into an issue where one a specific day, like a lot of places in Westfield in this area are closed on Mondays, with the exception of some of the later opening bars. Like myself, I open at 8 p.m. out here, but right now I want to stay at 2 p.m. to 1 a.m. every day, just so I know what kind of, just feel out what works in that area for hours.
And would you want to be able to be open later on Fridays or Saturdays, or is 1 a.m. your chosen close?
Yeah, that's because my understanding is that it's the in Amherst it's the required closing time. So we'll definitely stay open. We usually, what we do in Westfield, it's 2 a.m. but we call last call maybe around 1:15, 1:20 in that range, and then the music stops at 1:30, and everyone we start. That gives people time to finish their drinks and leave because we can't have a single person in there past 2 that doesn't work there.
Okay.
Or isn't working. And I would apply that same concept to Amherst as well.
Okay.
So it'd be 12:30 instead of 1:30.
Got it.
Okay, great, thanks. Any other questions? If not, is there a motion to approve the license?
So moved.
So moved.
Oh, that was, sorry, Doug beat you to it. Dylan, do you want to do the second? Is there a
I
second?
get the second.
You get the second. Any further discussion? If there is none, we'll take a vote. Gaston,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Ally,
Aye.
Dylan,
Aye.
and I vote aye, which is 5-0. Your license is approved.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And Mr. Kraus, just to
Thank you.
clarify, I just checked
Yeah.
the zoning bylaw. So the License Commission doesn't really have a official policy as to closing time, but it's in the zoning bylaw. The zoning bylaw says that alcohol service cannot be continued past 1 a.m.
Okay.
License Commission on our licenses usually says alcohol service has to stop at 1 a.m., but we don't require everybody to be out the door at 1.
Oh.
It's on the license exactly what those the times are. I think you have a certain, maybe half an hour. We can double check, but there's a certain amount of time you have to let people finish their drinks and then clear them out.
Okay.
So as long as nothing conflicts with a condition in your zoning permit, you could do that.
Okay. That's my fault. I'm so used to, I've worked in the bar scene in Westfield for 10 years. So that's all I really understand is like, everyone out by 2. So I just took that same logic, but I appreciate that. Then we will adjust. We'll make sure no one's drinking past 1. And then, we will go from there then.
I don't even think it says that nobody can drink past 1. I think it just says you can't serve any new drinks, but I
Okay.
can get in touch with you. There's kind of specific times lined out. So I can get in touch with you and let you know exactly what
Awesome.
those are.
Thank you.
All right. Well, great. Well, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Best of luck. Hope everything goes really well.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, so next up we have Astor and Pine LLC doing business as Astor and Pine Market, 189 North Pleasant Street, a wine and malt off premises. And someone is here for that?
Yes, he is coming in.
Okay. William.
Hello.
Hello, hi, welcome, William. Thank you for your application. Would you like to describe your business a little bit?
I apologize, my video is not currently
Oh,
working.
that's all right.
So Astor and Pine Market is going to be a just a fun boutique wine and beer store in downtown Amherst that also sells really unique like imported and local culinary ingredients and produce.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So any questions about the license?
No.
Okay, I was gonna, Gaston, did you have a question?
Sure, thank you. Thank you, William. I'm wondering what your recent businesses have been and how the vision came together, because I guess this is your first business selling alcohol.
Yes. I have 20 years in the hospitality industry. I'm formerly a chef. So I've, always been in, businesses that, sell alcohol. This is my first, venture into, being an entrepreneur. And I wanted to just go into a community that would be really responsive to, this concept, and to be able to pair my, hospitality fine dining background and, really the emphasis on the hospitality to the retail sector.
Excellent. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. Any other questions or?
I was just gonna
Yeah.
just say that it's really nice to have some produce available downtown. I think that will make a difference for a lot of people. So
Mhm.
exciting.
Yeah, we've had a lot of feedback, and from the community. I did a lot of boots on the ground kind of just talking to people and figuring out what exactly are the community is looking for. So I tried to really tailor the concept to that, and understand that there is a a need that is not existing there. and apparently, I guess there used to be, but it's such a up and coming area. Not aside from even just the college, like residential is thriving. There's new buildings, and I just saw like it was kind of like the perfect location, and the opportunity with the license being available, that it was just really exciting.
Right. Fantastic. So you're in the old Vichy Hair Studio, is that right?
Yes.
Oh, near those. Okay, right. Okay, great. Any other questions about the license? Comments, Gaston?
So I guess your prime market's not going to be the college age students, but college age students are always inventive and many desirous of purchasing alcohol, even if they're underage. And so I just wonder what protocols and practices you're setting up to address that issue.
Well, I am first TIPS certified. I took the TIP certification for the off-premise sale. And that being said, I'm going to, it's a little bit too early in the in the development of the project, but I am going to invest in the the proper scanning technology, and be able to make sure everything's logged. There's going to be security cameras in the store, as well as just checking everybody's ID, and just just going about it the right way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. Any other questions? If there are no other questions, is there a motion to approve the license?
So moved.
Thank you, Doug. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Dylan. Any further discussion about this one? If not, we'll take a vote. Dylan,
Aye.
Gaston,
Aye.
Hallie,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
and I vote aye. That is 5-0. The license is approved. Thank you so much for coming in, and
Thank you so much.
we wish you the very best luck with your business. Sounds great.
Have a great evening.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, so next up, discussion topics, marijuana regulation. And where did we leave that? Was those were going to go to the lawyer? Is that correct? To town
So
council.
sorry, just before we move on, who did the motion, the second, and the last one there?
Oh, sorry. Doug did the motion. Dylan did the second.
All right. I really should just use copy and paste instead of even asking. So
Hey, we've been making it easy for you for like months now. Come on.
with marijuana, I did get in touch with KP Law, and they said, I asked them, at this point it might be helpful just to before they do a line by line review, just to send along some bylaws from other communities who have done similar things. I have not heard back from them yet, but they should be sending that along. And so we can kind of take a look and compare and contrast, and then see what additions or subtractions we may want to make, and then move along to a line by line review of that. So Dylan did have another draft today, I believe.
Okay.
I can share that.
Okay.
Oh, it's the same draft I sent you last, or I actually emailed to review it, kind of on their own time. So.
All right. Does everybody have that, or would you like me to share the screen?
You could share the screen. That might make it easier. Okay. So Dylan, is this the same from last time, or did you
Exactly the same.
okay.
I just it's on Google Docs, and it's a just a technical issue. I couldn't convert it to doc in time, so then I
Okay.
forgot about it. So, but there it is. We'll get it. We'll get it sent out.
Okay,
So
so,
what are we trying to?
yeah,
to
are we gonna
do?
go over this, or, does anyone have any? We're looking for our suggestions?
Uh,
Or,
No, again, I just sent that over to Steve.
oh, okay,
Just so that way he would have it and we can ultimately get it sent out, because I know we had talked about last time you guys wanted to just get a copy of it just to be able to review it.
oh, okay,
Um,
right, okay.
so,
So this is the same thing that we talked about last time.
yeah, no
and
changes
then-
from when I shared
No
screen
changes?
last time.
Okay, and then it's gonna go to town council and they're gonna get back and then we can kind of go over it and, is that right, Steve?
Yes, so we're gonna get some suggestions from KP Law, just as to, comparable towns and see what their idea is, what their ideas are. We
Okay.
can do some revisions on that, and then we can maybe send it to them for a line by line review, and then begin discussions with the town council.
Okay, great. So this is just to see, like, we have it in this format and we can all access this version of it. Is that correct? Is that what you said? So Jillian, you're sending it to Steve or it's on Google Docs? Or-
I sent it to Steve. It's on Google Docs. If it's just easier, I can just have Steve. I can share it all to you and make you all editors as well, which might be easier.
I
Which
would
might not
advise
even-
against that for just open meeting law
Open
reasons.
meeting law,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
send
but
it to Steve.
if you can figure out, I wasn't able to copy any of the text with the permissions with this, Dylan, and I don't have a Google account for work I could use. So if you're just able to send me the text in whatever format, I can put it into a Word document and
Okay.
send it along to people.
Okay. All right, so that's great. So we don't need to go over this right now. All right, super. So everything is in progress. And do you know when town council might be back with their answers, Steve? Like at some,
I did reach out to them right after our last meeting, so that shouldn't be. I wouldn't expect it to be all that much longer, but I don't know. I can follow up with them about that.
okay, well, just hopefully by next meeting, but would be nice. So. Okay. So if that is that for discussion topic A, let's go on to lunch carts and food trucks on Prey Street. And how has that been going, Steve?
So we did have a truck attempt to do it on this past Saturday.
Mhm.
It was Rooster's Roman Cantina again. It seemed to no problems again. So that is always good news. And I believe we'll be trying it once again on this coming Saturday. After that, I believe the students will leaving, and I don't think business would be very good for them, especially in the dead of winter. So I don't think we are going to do it over the winter, but maybe we can try to do a retrospective of how that all went, and maybe propose to the town council to make that a more permanent program next spring.
Sure, that sounds good. That sounds good. Okay. Any questions about this? Yes, Doug.
Just Steve, obviously you said, the last time we did it, the last week or so, just one vendor was there. Have we had, what's just the general sort of take in regard to folks participating? Have we had more than one, or we only had one each time?
We have had, so Rooster's Roman Cantina has been there just about, if not every time. La Vera Cruzana has done it a couple times. They have a food truck as well. And there's one other person who reached out to me who was interested, but he did not follow up with an application yet. So I can see if he would be interested for the spring, but he seemed to want to try to do it as much as possible. So yeah, no, there hasn't been as much interest as I anticipated. I think part of that might be communication challenges. We did only reach out to people who had been licensed in Amherst in the last couple of years, and we don't have a ton of people who who come to Amherst the food truck. So if it becomes a more more permanent thing next spring, I might reach out to some neighboring towns and see, to try to get their lists and reach out to them and see who may be interested.
Just to follow up
Yes,
a little
sure.
bit.
Yep.
We did a few licenses this fall. I mean, some of them are the folks you've mentioned a little bit, but I know we did 3 or 4 licenses for food trucks this fall. Some of them were on technically North Pleasant Street, I guess it would be, because that was available to them to start with, and doing some regular business that way. None of those that were earlier in the fall or late summer have really participated much.
Not in this program, no. I know there was one I was speaking to who the hours just didn't work for her. Some
Yeah.
people really love these hours and want to do them, and some people would rather not. And there's another one who I believe the ice cream one
Yeah.
had kind of already shut her operation down by the time this started rolling. So she
Yeah.
wasn't interested. But I think that's the only 3 between that and Roosters that had been approved for other late night service. So
I just have one more question.
sure.
Sure.
Have you heard from brick and mortar businesses about it, whether positive or negative? So like the Spokes right there, they're probably thrilled because they've got a place for people to go and get some food. But, Garcia's is not far by, and they're in competition directly. Have you heard from any of those folks and their take on it, or their discomfort with it?
I really haven't heard much either way from the brick and mortar businesses. I know I had spoken with the bid about it, and the bid did not anticipate many conflicts because it is very late night and there's not really much options for food at those hours. But no, I've heard no complaints from any other brick and mortar businesses.
That's good. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks. Right, so next weekend, and then we can look forward to the spring. All right, if there are no other questions about that one, annual report. So Steve sent you a copy of the annual report just for your interest and review. And do we need to go over it, or not really? If you have any questions, I think we put some things on there for what to do for next year, kind of a little list. So, and of course, the number 1 is the marijuana regulation, which we're doing. So anyway, okay, so that's just for your information. All right, should we move on to D, Savannah's Amherstburger Company closures?
Yes,
Steve.
so Gaston had reached out to me about this. I have spoken to representatives of those businesses, and I believe they were in at least partial common ownership. And they have found somebody, I'm not really sure exactly any of the circumstances with why they are closing or anything, but I know that they are in agreement with an experienced restaurant group from out of town who will be in the state, but out of town, who will be purchasing these businesses, and I think with some minor modifications continuing along with them. So they are working on applications, and ideally the next one will be up and running by February 1st.
Oh,
Is
that's
it-
good. Yeah,
Oh,
sorry.
Is it the same business purchasing them both?
Yes.
Okay, that time frame is much sooner than what was communicated about the burger company by the past or current owner.
When was that?
In the post that they had just before they were closing, it seemed like, maybe in a year they'd be back. But I mean, it's good news if they're going to turn it around that quickly.
Yeah, that is really nice.
But that's what they conveyed to you.
Yes, we were focusing more on Savannah's. That seemed like a higher priority for them, but I believe that's what's going to be going on with both businesses. So I guess we will know for sure once they submit an application. They are hoping to get on the agenda for the 28th, which
Okay.
I knew we were hoping was just going to be a quick renewal meeting, but the board does have obligations to hear applications within a certain time frame. So
But again, you're referring to the new application for the Savannahs.
I believe they are trying to transfer, but
transfer the Savannahs.
Yeah, so that's, I believe we spoke about both of them.
Okay.
Certainly we're talking about Savannah's. Um,
Well,
but
I
that is
think
my understanding.
if you can just request that they be prepared to address the burger company as well in conversation with us at the meeting.
Yeah, for renewal.
Yeah,
For for status,
Okay.
what's actually, I mean, you can't renew a license for a business that's closed, right?
well, yeah, I mean, because
The-
we have protocol coming, I mean, they're gonna have to renew, oh, no, not the Oyster Bar.
Oyster Bar.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're gonna have to and
the
they're-
licensing authority may deny renewal for that. You're not obligated to.
Okay,
Yeah, so we may, and I guess subject to what we learn about the plans, yeah, I mean, we just need to know what the plans are, because a licensee doesn't have a right to indefinitely hope for the best.
All right, well, I will communicate that with them and they can maybe make a statement for renewal.
okay, Hallie and then Doug.
Actually, Doug's hand was up before mine, so he can
Oh,
go.
sorry, go ahead, Doug.
So I'm just speaking of Savannah's. So they're looking to transfer, but then there's also an immediate renewal. So is it a transfer and renewal?
You
Because
couldn't,
we're right at
you
the end of the
can't
calendar year,
you
and
can't
that's right where the
combine
license
those, you can't combine those transactions. But they
Right,
would
right,
be
right.
doing both, yeah.
But I mean, are they hoping to execute the transfer first, then execute the renewal, which would be literally like the next day, because it's the 28th of December and it ends on the 31st.
Yeah,
It seems like it's a developing situation. So I don't want to really speculate too much. I will ask the representative to try to get you guys some more information for next week.
Yeah, the thing I think about is that, it's just timing up with the end of the year and making sure, like, procedurally they have the right things, because I'd hate for them to like transfer the license and then it expire and then they've got to like
yeah,
renew from scratch, and it causes them an extra set of fees with the state, even separate from us. But so, even with the state and the ABCC, we want them to not get caught in this sort of weird window between the end of the calendar year and the start of the new one. Just curious.
Yeah, never an easy time to do something like this time of year, but I will, I mean, I think it's developing. I spoke to the representative last week and, yeah, I think it's a developing situation. So I will, get in touch with them
okay.
and make sure they're considering all these.
Steve, is it the case that neither of the two license types are at quota, or only the Savannah's one?
They're definitely both not a quota, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
neither's a quota. So that certainly weighs into the stakes of
right,
renewal.
we had like a similar
inoperable.
conversation about the Oyster Bar a couple of meetings back, didn't we? Because they've been sitting on that license for 2 years and have not, it was 2021, right?
Wow, yeah.
We
I
approved
believe
that?
so. Yeah, they know they did have it this entire year. Yeah, they made a some representations as to the difficulties they've been having getting open on their renewal form. So
Okay,
I will make sure to include any specific renewal forms that are have notes on them like that for your review.
okay,
I generally take it you guys are fine if I don't send along each form for the normal renewals, but I will
Yes.
send along any that have notes on them.
yeah, totally fine, thank you. Okay. Any other questions about Savannah's and Amherst Burger Co.? Oh, yeah, Hallie, go ahead.
I just was going to ask Steve, and maybe it's more a question for Bid, but what happened to the businesses, or if they have feedback on town licensing or just doing business in the town in general? Because those were two fairly experienced restaurant owners.
Not the burger company.
True. Barry Roberts is a part of the town, but they had trouble. But Savannah's was the Dolly family. Is that the Jolly family?
Yeah.
Who had?
Yeah, no, I don't have any insight on that, but I can certainly ask Gabrielle if they're looking for a state of the market, I guess.
Okay, great. So, moving on, we can go to liquor law complaint. Steve.
Yes, so I
one.
received an anonymous complaint from a anonymous email provider.
Mhm.
It is attached. I don't have any more information than that, but I will forward it along to the board's enforcement arm, APD,
Okay,
and I don't know if
Yeah,
there's
I
anything
mean,
else.
sometimes these anonymous forms are disgruntled somebody's. Unfortunately.
yeah. Was there-
Question.
Hey, Steve, was there an ABCC complaint about one of those places? Am I remembering?
I don't believe there has
It wasn't,
been,
not one of those
there
two?
there was
Okay.
one for the Spoke maybe a year ago.
Yeah,
And I
that's what I
believe
mean.
that was appealed, and I think he may have prevailed, but I don't remember off the top of my head.
Okay, all right, just curious. So I think usually he's very careful.
Yeah, that
Okay.
was an odd complaint from them.
Yes.
Yes?
Dylan.
Yeah, so two questions. Actually. First, yeah, in terms of procedure on this one, we let APD know, but where do they go from here? They just they take it and do something with it, investigate. Do they like get in touch with the business owners? Like, what's kind of the procedure?
I don't know exactly what they would do for a complaint like this, but I can ask them.
Okay.
Okay.
And then on our end, maybe this is something we should think about when it comes to, getting these types of complaints. I mean, yeah, an anonymous complaint, I understand it, but at the same time, yeah, it's hard to say when it's an anonymous complaint, just saying some doorman there is letting people in. I could believe it, 100% believe it. But it is kind of hard to go off of. Do we have, or do we want to maybe even start thinking about during the next calendar year, kind of what should be our procedure when we receive these types of complaints? Because I don't think if somebody's gonna, come to us and say, hey, there's this issue, that we're just like, oh, what are we gonna do about it? Not a whole lot. Like, I mean, maybe that's the best idea, but we are just a group of volunteers here, but maybe we should have some type of procedure in place where we can do something to take it seriously, even if it is contacting the business owners. I know both the owners of the Spoke and Stackers. I don't think they have any incentive to sell to people underage, and I think if we were looking to address the problem, it might not hurt to reach out to them. But making that say standard procedure, I don't think is necessarily a good idea either. So something for us to think about. And in this case, would we want to reach out to business owners and let them know? I mean, it is all public information. They could just see it. So what does the rest of the board think about that?
Doug?
Yeah, I'm not opposed to us thinking about a sort of standard approach to these kinds of things. I mean, I think, one thing to keep in mind is APD has a regular, no, I wouldn't say regular because I don't know, but they do enforcement. They, sort of use their younger looking officers who are probably not under 21, but look like they could be, to do some of that work. They've done that undercover work at times when they have opportunities. So, getting a sense of that. And right now, because we're sitting between police chiefs and Gabe Ting is serving as the sort of interim chief. I fully appreciate that position. But how often they can do enforcement, given that they're in that space, may be sort of interesting to know what their general approach is. Not to give away the dates they're going to do it, but if they could give us a little sketch of what their opportunities to do that kind of enforcement. And also, we had, I want to say, almost a year ago, a couple of cases where ABC had come in and done some enforcement. And in the past, they had typically engaged local law enforcement before they did that. Whereas we had a couple of cases where they had come in and had, sort of found issues, and our law enforcement were unaware they were kind of even in town. So I'm just sort of, two things there. Is one is that I think I sort of follow on Dylan's idea is that, yeah, we should look at what a general approach we might take to this would be. And one other thing would be to connect with the APD on what their sort of general strategy and amount of checking they do. And then just to kind of, the second question is sort of what's our understanding of the approach ABCC was taking in the last year or so? Did we ever get an answer about that?
Yeah, I don't think we have. Steve, we've talked about that a little bit. And after that relationship broke down during the pandemic, I think, and then Scott Livingston retired. I think you brought it up with Gabe Ting, right, Steve? And but haven't heard back. Or
Sorry, I was muted. Yep, Chief Ting did
Yeah.
reach out to the ABCC, I believe, twice and did not hear back from them. So I don't know what else to say with that, but I do know that the ABCC has been doing their enforcement sweeps as well. So
right. Okay.
would the board like me to, from what I hear, is the board requesting that I reach out to those owners for comment on this allegations and ask Chief Ting to maybe speak on what APD is doing?
Yeah, I think that would be, I don't know about reaching out to the owners. Is that maybe it's something that, I don't know. Yeah, Gaston, what would you do? Oh, you're muted. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I think I have the same kind of instinct that I heard Dylan voice, and in the sense that if we get a complaint that we think we're going to take it all seriously,
Mm-hmm.
it does seem appropriate to me to let the establishments know. Now, it might make sense to let the police know first in case the police want to do something before, but I think our default should be to share the information. I don't know what people think. I'm just thinking off the top of my head here.
Well, I mean, someone could send them an email, we could send an email like saying we got this complaint. Is that so? Sorry, go ahead, Helly.
I think sharing is good. I mean, we oversee them, but we also are trying to be partners. And when we want people to come in and share their thoughts and opinions on our regulations and how business is doing, I think if it's a two-way street, that helps everybody.
Okay.
If I could jump in as well. I think in this case too, where it's specifically saying that, the claim here is that this is an employee, not the establishment that's doing it. And I think if our goal is to limit underage drinking, with trying to coordinate some effort with the APD could take a good amount of time, where I think informing a business owner kind of right away, I think they're on the same page with us if they also want that same goal of limiting underage drinking. And I think that would be, in this case, the fastest, most effective way to eliminate it if it is taking place.
Okay. So how do we do that? Steve, do you want to give him a call or?
The owners, yeah, I can give them a call.
Yeah, why don't you do that? I think it's probably better. And then we can go from there. But, putting something like this on the agenda to talk about, come up with a policy would probably be a good idea. So why don't we do that too?
Well, sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So Steve, do you think should we also send it to the police or just the owners to start with?
I mean, the police are the License Commission's enforcement arm. I mean, I think they deal with this stuff professionally, and I certainly don't think they're going to overreact to an anonymous complaint, but it can't hurt for them to know what we heard.
Okay, so I guess however you send them information like that, if you could, please, that would be great.
All right.
All right, thank you. Okay. If there's nothing else on this one, then licensing fee review. And I guess we don't have to really get into this too much tonight, but Steve sent around, I think Gaston, you put those charts together.
Yeah.
again. Thank you
Yep.
so
Yeah.
much.
Thanks for resuscitating them.
Yeah, and so this is something we can start reviewing for 2024.
Well, what would, if we're going to make a change for next year's fees, is it already too late?
Steve, what about that? When was you said the budget was going in on?
Yeah, so that has passed. Although the Board of License Commissioners, that the kind of the broader fee review, although the Board of License Commissioners is, has its own authority to set fees, so that doesn't really
Right,
affect the board. I mean, we are already taking payments for next year's fees, so that wouldn't affect
Okay.
what people are paying for renewal, but it would affect what, new license applications coming in
Okay.
pay. So I wouldn't say there's any particular urgency, but
okay,
Well, maybe we can highlight the kind of discrepancies that caught your attention, Steve, since we're all here to see what people's kind of immediate reactions are. Doug, I think that what Steve highlighted that when we talked about this last was the gap between the wine and malt and the full liquor for for bars, right?
yes.
Bars or restaurants, or also for off premises. Let's see. And then there was a question whether we felt we should go up or down to even out things if we want to even them out.
yeah, what
Yeah.
jumped out to me just in terms of discrepancy is just the difference between on premises all alcohol and wine and malt, just $2,500, which just seems very extreme to me. Although I don't really have any preference as to how that's addressed. It just is something that, looking at the fee schedule, really jumps out to me as extreme.
If I could make a quick point. Sorry, I can't raise my hand while I'm driving. Sorry to keep interjecting. But I mean, I think if our fees are being set on the cost of administration, doesn't one cost in theory more to administer, because if we're using, in theory, again, APD to regularly run checks on a bar that you drink at, as opposed to maybe like a liquor store, wouldn't we think the cost would be more expensive in that case to administer, so that would justify the difference in price?
Dylan, what you're saying is that, like, the sting operation, for example, if we go back to the whole Porta thing, depended on the fact that it was an all alcohol license, so that the police resources or town resources maybe are there is a discrepancy that would justify the license discrepancy. Is that
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's my argument. And it could be wrong. Could be, the cost the same to enforce on both. But I just imagine, doing enforcement in something like a bar would be more costly than just like a liquor store, like a spirit house kind of place.
Well, but these are both on premises. Is the discrepancy is between on premises all alcohol 3,500 and wine and malt on premises only, which is 1,000.
Got it. Okay.
Right. And that would be like, I mean, it doesn't have a wine and malt, right? But the White Lion Brewing Company.
I don't know if they're full liquor, right?
They are a farmer brewery, so they are in a totally different category.
They're that other
And those are
category.
only $250.
So people are not going to go in there and do shots like they are, or drink.
They can't serve anything besides what they make.
Right, exactly. Or a wine and malt place can't serve any, like they can't serve, you can't ingest multiple units of hard alcohol and on a wine and malt license, and then potentially wreak havoc on the street, which you could with a, you know, in which I think occasionally does happen with an all alcohol on premises. So maybe that is why. But go ahead. Yeah, sorry, Doug.
Yeah, I think the other question we want to ask is sort of the internal effort, because, you know, sort of, you know, most of the time, most of the bars and restaurants do a good job. They manage, you know, they don't overserve people, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, what I'm thinking about is for Steve, when we're talking about sort of the time you spend with applicants and renewals, explaining differences, what they can and can't do. You know, is it much more complicated when you're reviewing an all alcohol with the ABCC stuff versus not? I mean, I don't get the sense they're wildly different workload wise for you, but if you could kind of paint that picture a little bit too, because that's the other sort of cost we incur is Steve's time to sort of manage and communicate with these folks. And so, you know, I kind of get the sense they're very similar, you know, because the distinctions significant, but happens at the facility. The actual things we have to tell them are probably very, very similar. But Steve, if you could kind of speak to that a little bit, that'd be great to understand.
No, between wine and malt and all alcohol, I pretty much just click a different button. You know, there might be more questions and guidance that comes up with a kind of you know, really bar type establishment, and then, you know, it's trying to be open late nights, and then one that's just kind of daytime, but that could really apply to either license type. And even then, not particularly significant for me.
So how would we find out about like police enforcement costs of a wine and malt on premises versus an all alcohol? Can you just ask, like, you just ask them and see if
Well, I mean, I guess it depends if we're looking at first or second order effects. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
you could compare calls to the site, but that might not necessarily pick up people who left there.
right.
And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would presume that it's kosher to set these at different places, because that's how it has been done, and from Gaston's research seems that's how it's done in pretty much every other town.
Right.
But yeah, what exactly to set that at, I don't know if we really, I think I don't know if there would be any methodology of determining those kind of second order costs that would be at all
Right.
accurate.
Okay. Okay, so what do we want to do next about this?
Hard
I
to
can-
get too excited
I
about making a change.
I can ask KP Law if they have any guidance on what other towns do to set these fees.
I mean, I'll tell you what the thought process that went through my mind before I said it's hard to get excited is, one, I'm reluctant to recommend raising fees when we're, you know, still trying to attract businesses and be friendly to businesses.
Right,
I'm reluctant to lower fees because it hasn't been an issue.
yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, yeah, if the board just wants to table it and say we're good with what we have, that's perfectly fine with me.
Yeah, does that sound good?
I'm good.
Yeah,
I think
I
we
like
opened a bigger can of worms trying to raise somebody's, lower somebody else's.
yeah. Well,
Look,
why don't
we eliminated the coin operation fee because that was old and outdated. We got something done with these.
okay, well, let's just put it aside, I guess, and then,
We could just recommend tripling them and see what reaction we get.
yeah, right.
But tell the
Really
but
get some public input.
they should send the increase to Venmo Gaston de los Reyes. Oh lordy.
Okay. All right, well, so much for that one. To be revisited in the future. And that brings us to G, upcoming meetings and agendas. So I guess our next meeting is what, the 28th? Is that right? Or is that, oh no, are we meeting on the 21st? The
So
21st? December.
we are planning to meet next week, I believe, and then the 28th, if that works for people.
Oh, okay, the 14th. All right, so we're meeting the 14th and then we're meeting the 28th. And I suppose we'll put marijuana regulation, maybe a last review of the last weekend of the lunch cart and food trucks on Prairie Street. Oh, you won't have that by next week, will you? Yes, you will. We don't need annual report, maybe an update on Savannah's and the burger company closures.
Yeah, I can ask the
Yeah,
representative to clarify what is going on for renewal.
okay. And then see if there's any response from the business for the liquor law complaint. And anything else? When do we start and how are the renewals going?
They are coming in at a good clip, keeping
Okay,
me very busy, but what I will try to do is it takes a lot longer to put them on the agenda than you would think, but I will try to cram as many of them onto the agenda for next week as possible.
okay. super.
And get those out of the way, and whatever stragglers we have, we will put them on for the 28th. We do also have the Savannah's, and at least Savannah's, maybe Burger Cove they seem to be very motivated to move forward quickly, so that will likely be in the 28th. Garcia's has submitted a change of manager request,
Oh, good.
and
Interesting. Great.
I did need to send it back for some changes, but they could possibly be on next week or maybe the meeting afterwards. So
Okay, super. Fantastic. And then great, and then we'll have the 28th. Okay. So we'll be here next week at 5. Topics not anticipated 48 hours prior to the meeting. Any topics? Not anticipated.
I
Yes.
just wanted to chime in one more time. I think I was losing reception there when we were talking about upcoming meetings and agendas. I don't know what you guys would think potentially going forward a little bit here in the future. We were to start doing meetings at like 5:36. That way I would be able to get home, settled in, and not be driving when we do meetings. What do you guys think of that?
Okay. Let me talk. What do you guys think about that? 5:36. Does that matter?
I think I can do it.
Okay, yeah, I think I can do it to get Doug,
I can.
you can,
Yeah.
Gaston? Yeah,
So is it like 5:36 or 5:30
or 6.
or 6? Yeah, I mean, I guess if they're the same, I'd probably go with the earlier one, but I'm flexible enough. I'm gonna start having one Thursday a month busy at 7 p.m. I think.
Okay. So we're gonna do 5:30? So next week, 5:30? Dylan, will that give you time?
Yes, that
Okay.
would be fantastic.
Okay, great. Any other topics not anticipated? All right, if not, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dylan. We'll take a vote. Pally,
Yes, sorry, I'm just changing it on my calendar right now.
Gaston,
Aye.
Dylan,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
and I vote aye. That is 5-0. We're adjourned at 6:07 p.m. Okay, great,
Okay.
everybody. Thank you. Thank you so much, Steve, and see you next week.
All right,
thank you,
bye-bye.
everybody. Have a
All right.
nice night.
You
See you.
too. Bye.
Thank you, Steve.
Wait.